Today we're going through 7 houses across Texas, and every single one of them is under $152,000. I pulled the actual listings, checked the current status on every one of these before we sat down to film, and walked through every photo room by room before it made this list. That matters because a listing that looked good a month ago isn't the same as a listing that's actually still there waiting for you today. Some of these are genuinely done, move-in ready, nothing to touch, and I want to be upfront about which ones those are. A couple of them need real work, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what that work is before you fall in love with the price, because a low number on a listing means nothing if you show up and the floor is torn out in one of the bedrooms. That's happened to me before on properties I almost featured, and I'd rather catch it here on my end than have one of you drive an hour out to see a place in person and get blindsided. We're going from the best condition on today's list all the way down to the one that needs the most love, so by the time we get to the end, you'll know exactly what your money buys at every single level, from turnkey to fixer. That way, whether you're the type who wants to walk in and unpack boxes the same day, or the type who doesn't mind a little sweat equity if the price and the land make sense, you'll know exactly where to start looking on this list. Let's start with the one that surprised me the most. Here are 7 affordable Texas farmhouses retirees can actually move into. No fixer-uppers. San Antonio, Texas. Priced at $151,500. I'm going to break my own rule right out of the gate. This one's not a farmhouse, it's a city lot in San Antonio. We've been calling this a farmhouse show all video, so I know that's a little bit of a bait and switch, but the condition on this house is good enough that it earned the top spot on today's list regardless, and once you see it, I think you'll understand why I made the exception. Let's walk it. Pull up and you're on a quiet street, fresh green lawn out front, a little bit of shade from the trees along the property line. Step through the front door, and the first thing that hits you is the flooring. Laminate. Clean, consistent, running through the whole house with no patches, no wear spots, nothing that catches your eye in a bad way. This is what actually renovated looks like, not just claimed in the listing copy the way half these listings out here try to sell it to you. The living room opens up wide right off the entry and flows straight into a bonus room off the back of the house. That room could work as a second living area, a home office, or a utility space, whatever fits your life. It's the kind of flexible square footage you don't always get in a house this size. Head into the kitchen and it's straightforward. No surprises, stove, refrigerator included with the sale, clean counters, cabinets that close all the way, and drawers that actually slide. Nothing torn out, nothing half finished, nothing you're going to open up on move-in day and find a problem behind. Down the hall, both bathrooms have actually been redone. Ceramic tile, updated vanities, updated showers, the kind of work that costs real money and clearly got done here instead of just talked about in the listing description. That's a detail worth sitting with for a second because bathroom remodels are usually one of the more expensive things a buyer ends up paying for after closing. And here it's already finished, tiled, and photographed. 3 bedrooms total, all of them a usable size, and one of them's got a bold rust orange accent wall that's not gonna be for everyone. But that's paint. That's a weekend and a gallon of primer, not a real problem. Walk out back and there's a large fully fenced yard. Room for pets, room for a garden if that's your thing, room for entertaining if you want people over. These updates were done about a year and a half ago according to the listing, and it genuinely shows in every room. This is the one on today's list where you don't have to squint past anything in the photos to see what you're actually getting for your money. No land here, so if acreage is what you came for, this one's not it, and I want to be honest about that up front. But if what you actually want is a house that's done, fully done, not mostly done, not done except for, this is the strongest pick on today's entire list, and it's not particularly close. For a lot of retirees, especially anyone who's already done the acreage thing and is looking to downsize into something easier to maintain, a finished house on a normal lot like this one is actually the smarter move, not the compromise. Village Mills, Texas. Priced at $145,000. Second time this video, I'm breaking my own rule. This one isn't a farmhouse either. It's inside Wildwood Resort City, a gated golf and lake community about 90 minutes from Houston. I know, 2 exceptions in one video is a lot, but once you see this place, I think you'll understand why it made the cut anyway. Same as the last one. Let's walk it. Pull up and you're on a double corner lot, which is actually a rare setup in this neighborhood. Most of the lots here are standard size, so having double frontage gives you more breathing room than your average place in the community. Fenced backyard, 2-car garage attached right to the house. Step inside and the flooring is the first thing you notice. Stone tile running straight through the entire house. Living room bleeding right into the kitchen with no transition strips, no breaks, no patch jobs anywhere along the way. Whoever redid this floor did the whole footprint at once instead of piecing it together room by room, and you can tell. The living room's anchored by a brick fireplace with a gas insert, staged clean, good lines. The kind of focal point that makes a room feel finished instead of empty. Head into the kitchen, and it's real wood cabinets, granite counters, nothing mismatched, nothing half finished. This is a kitchen that's actually done, not one that photographs well from one angle and falls apart the second you look closer. Down the hall, the bathroom's already been updated too. Newer vanity, floating shelves for storage, modern fixtures throughout. 2 bedrooms, both with fresh flooring and fresh paint, closets finished out and ready to use without any extra work on your end. Walk back outside and the lake is right there, practically in the backyard. It's full again after being low for a while, which the listing makes a point of mentioning, and that's really the draw of the whole neighborhood. Being inside the gate gets you access to an 18-hole golf course, a 365-acre lake for fishing, boating, and swimming, plus tennis and basketball courts if that's part of your retirement picture. Now, a place like this usually comes with HOA dues, and I don't have that exact number in front of me, so if you're seriously considering it, that's the first question to ask the agent before you get too far down the road. Don't let the excitement of the lake and the golf course make you skip that call. An unclear HOA fee is exactly the kind of thing that turns a great deal into a headache 6 months in if nobody asked about it up front. But at this price, in this condition, inside a gated resort with a lake and a golf course, this one earned its spot on the list. Land or no land, if you've ever pictured retirement as mornings on a golf cart and afternoons on the water, this is about as close as you're going to get to that picture for under $150,000 anywhere in this state. Newton, Texas. Priced at $99,500. This one's out in deep East Texas, Newton, near the Louisiana line, sitting on a corner lot just under an acre. 3/4 of an acre exactly, minutes from Highway 87 and Highway 190, so you're not stranded out here even though it feels private. The size on this one is what stopped me scrolling in the first place. Let's walk it. From the outside, it's solid brick construction, and the roof was replaced recently. That's one of the big expensive items most buyers dread dealing with, and here it's already handled before you even walk in the door. Step through the front door and you're in the great room, and this is the room that actually got me. Real exposed wood beams run across a vaulted ceiling, a full brick fireplace anchors the whole space, wood paneling covers the walls, and sliding glass doors along the back wall open straight out to the yard, pulling in light from both directions. They genuinely don't build rooms like this anymore, not at this price point. Head into the kitchen and yeah, it's dated. Oak cabinets straight out of the era this house was built in. Nothing updated, nothing modernized. But nothing's torn out, nothing's broken. It's simply waiting on a style update whenever you're ready to give it one. And that's a very different situation than a kitchen that's missing appliances or has water damage under the sink. A coat of paint and new hardware on cabinets like these can change the entire feel of the room without touching a single wall. Down the hall, the primary bedroom is massive. Over 13 by 18 feet with 2 separate walk-in closets and its own private bathroom attached. That bathroom's got a pink tub, full 90s throwback, and honestly, kind of charming if you're not in a rush to rip it out the day you move in. Past that, 3 more bedrooms, a formal dining area, and a separate living room stacked on top of the great room we already walked through. So this house has genuine, real separation between spaces instead of one big open room trying to do everything at once. That matters more than people think when you're actually living somewhere day to day, especially if you've got family visiting or want a quiet room to retreat to. That isn't also the room everyone else is watching TV in. The laundry room is sized like an actual room, not the closet-sized after afterthought you get tucked into a hallway in most houses this price. Step out to the garage and this is where it gets serious. 4 full car spaces, its own bathroom, and a dedicated storage room attached to the whole setup. That's the kind of feature you'd expect on a property listed at twice this price, not on something under 100 grand. Outside, there's a 1,000 square foot metal shop, a separate brick storage building sitting on its own slab, a private courtyard, a fenced backyard, and a deck for entertaining. If you're thinking workshop, hobby space, or you just need somewhere serious to put everything you own, this lot has more outbuildings than most properties on today's entire list combined. Over 3,300 square feet total, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and every single room finished, carpeted or floored, painted, ready to actually live in from day one. This is a cosmetic time capsule, not a construction site, and that distinction matters a lot more than the listing photos let on. It's been sitting 64 days, and for a house this size at this price, that's genuinely worth pointing out. My read on it, the listing itself talks about restoring it to its former charm, and that kind of language scares off buyers scanning fast, even when the house itself doesn't need real renovation, just an updated look here and there. That's probably exactly why a place with this much space, this many outbuildings, and a brand new roof hasn't moved yet. People see that phrase, picture a construction site, and click past without ever looking at the actual photos underneath it. That's the whole reason I wanted to include this one today. If you're the kind of buyer who reads past the marketing language and actually looks at what's in front of you, this is exactly the kind of listing that rewards you for doing that extra work. Burkburnett, Texas. Priced at $79,000. This one's a genuine log cabin up near the Oklahoma border in Burkburnett, sitting on just over 1/3 of an acre with a pipe-fenced yard around the whole property. Let's walk it. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,325 square feet total. Step inside and it's dated, I won't pretend otherwise. Oak cabinets, a couple of bathrooms with tile straight out of the early 2000s, but every single room is finished and functional, nothing sitting half done. The main living area's got a tray ceiling, a chandelier hanging over the space, a real stone fireplace as the centerpiece, and wood paneling on one accent wall that fits the whole log cabin feel of the place. Head into the kitchen and there's a full run of cabinets, a tile backsplash, a working gas range, and the stainless fridge stays with the sale, which saves you a real cost right out of the gate. A decent fridge alone can run you over $1,000 new, and that's one less thing to budget for on move-in day. Walk further into the house and there's a second living space entirely. Vaulted ceiling, another stone accent wall, built-in shelving wrapped around a second fireplace. This room genuinely photographs better than some houses on today's list priced twice as high, and it's the kind of bonus space that a lot of buyers in this price range simply don't get. Here's the part I want to be straight with you about. The listing itself says bring your own vision and lists the sale as is, and normally that combination is exactly the kind of language that means real work is waiting behind the photos, no matter how good those photos look. But going through every single picture on this one, I don't see it. No damage, nothing torn out, nothing exposed or hanging loose. My honest read is this is an older seller, or maybe someone selling from out of state who just doesn't want to deal with repairs or buyer credits during the sale. Not a house that's actually falling apart behind the scenes. Still, if you're seriously looking at this one, get someone out to check the roof and the mechanicals before you fall for the price, since neither of those things show up in a photo either way, good or bad. Step back outside and there's a detached 2-car garage, an additional 2-car carport, and 2 separate driveways. Vehicle and storage space is not going to be a problem here at all. Whether that's cars, a boat, or a project you're working on, there's also what looks like a second small log structure on the property that I can see in one of the photos, worth asking the agent about directly, since the listing itself doesn't spell out what that building actually is or what it's used for. It's been on the market 30 days, which for a genuine log cabin at this price point in this part of the state isn't long at all. These don't come up often, and when they do, they tend to move. Lamesa, Texas. Priced at $65,000. This one's out in West Texas, Lamesa, sitting on a full acre of land, built in 1915, so it's the oldest house on today's entire list by a wide margin, and it actually shows in a good way, not a bad one. Let's walk it. Step inside and the living and dining area flow into each other through an arched doorway, the kind of detail you just don't see in anything built after a certain era. Real hardwood floors run underfoot, dark and refinished, the kind somebody clearly took the time to bring back to life, rather than just painting over the problem or covering it with cheap flooring. Big windows let in real light through the whole front half of the house. Head into the kitchen and it's a genuine step back in time. White cabinets, granite look counters, a tile floor in a pattern you don't see installed anymore because nobody makes it that way. But it's clean and complete, nothing torn out, nothing damaged, nothing missing that would stop you from cooking dinner there tonight if you moved in tomorrow. Down the hall, 3 bedrooms, all carpeted, painted in a dated mauve color that could use an update eventually, but perfectly livable exactly as it sits today. No urgency required. The bathroom's small and finished in old style tan and beige tile, the kind of room you'd probably redo eventually just for the look, but every fixture in there works and nothing's missing or broken. Step outside and there's a detached 1-car garage with extra storage space built in, plus real usable room on the lot to expand later if that's ever something you wanted to do with the property. $60 a square foot on a house built in 1915 that's still standing this straight with hardwood floors this well kept is a genuinely good number for what you're actually getting. Houses from this era don't usually age this gracefully, and this one has. A lot of houses this old have foundation issues, sagging floors, or walls that have shifted over 100+ years, and none of that shows up here in the photos. This one was clearly looked after. Orange, Texas. Priced at $99,900 after an $8,100 price cut from where it started. Full disclosure, walking into this one of the bedrooms needs new flooring. It's down to bare subfloor in there right now. I'm not going to pretend that's not a real fix because it is, but everything else in this house earns its place on today's list. So let's walk through the whole thing before you write it off. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,320 square feet on half an acre, with a fully fenced backyard around the property. Step inside and the living room's actually in good shape. Laminate flooring, a tray ceiling overhead, double windows pulling in a good amount of natural light throughout the day. Head into the kitchen and there's a real dining space built right in, with room to add an island down the road if you ever wanted one. Down the hall, the primary bedroom has its own closet with built-in shelving already installed, fully finished out and ready to use. Now, walk into that 1 bedroom I mentioned up top. It needs flooring, plain and simple, down to the bare subfloor. There's no getting around that one. Budget for it going into the purchase. And this stops being a deal breaker and starts being a line item on a renovation list, which is a very different thing. Here's the edge that makes it worth the trade-off, in my opinion. Step back outside and there's a covered front porch, a large covered back porch, and a big workshop out back. The kind of space that alone can run you thousands of dollars to add onto a house that doesn't already have it built in. On half an acre, with a workshop already standing and ready to use, 1 bedroom needing new flooring is a small price to pay for everything else you're getting with this property. If you're already planning on doing any work at all to a place you buy, new paint, new fixtures, making it your own, replacing 1 room's flooring is a small addition to that list. Not a reason to walk away from a house with this much usable space around it. Ladonia, Texas. Priced at $150,000. That's what it takes to get 5.5 acres out near Ladonia, Texas. And I'll be straight with you up front, this is the one on today's entire list that needs the most love before it's actually move-in ready. Let's walk it. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, just under 1,500 square feet, sitting on that full acreage out on Highway 50. Step inside through the closed-in laundry sunroom first, and it's wrapped floor to ceiling in real tongue-and-groove pine paneling. And I want to be clear, that's not the cheap stuff you see slapped up in a lot of these older houses. That's a genuinely nice built-in feature that would cost real money to replicate new. Head into the kitchen and there's painted cabinets and decent counter space to work with, but the flooring is dated and shows real wear throughout, including a patch section that tells you plainly this house has been sitting empty for a while without anyone taking care of it day to day. Outside is really where this one earns its keep, and it's worth walking the whole property to see it. There's a barn, several separate outbuildings, and the entire place is already fenced for animals if that's part of your plan. There's even an above-ground pool back there, though it needs a new liner before it's actually usable again. Location-wise, you're about a mile from the new Ralph Hall Lake, which is expected to be a big draw for the whole area once construction wraps up, and you're close to East Texas A&M too if that matters to you or your your family. I'll say this plainly, same as I told you back at the top of this video. The listing itself is upfront that the house has sat vacant almost a year and needs some real TLC before anyone moves in. I'd rather tell you that straight right now than have you show up expecting something this house simply isn't yet. But I didn't want to leave this one off the list entirely because 5.5 fenced acres, a barn, multiple outbuildings, and a spot a mile from a brand new lake is genuinely hard to find anywhere close to this price. If you've got the patience for a project and the acreage matters more to you than move-in ready floors, this is the one on today's list actually worth that trade. That's 7 houses, 7 towns, and not one of them over $152,000. From a fully renovated place in San Antonio you could move into tomorrow with nothing to touch, all the way down to a 5.5 acre property out in Ladonia that needs some real work but comes with the land and the outbuildings to make that work worth it. There's genuinely something on this list for wherever you're at right now, whether you want move-in ready this week or you don't mind rolling up your sleeves for the right price and the right acreage. If one of these caught your eye, the links to every single listing are down in the description below, and I genuinely start with whichever one actually matched what you need out of a property, not just whichever one had the lowest number on the screen. Price alone doesn't tell you the whole story, and I hope today's video made that clear. If you've been following along with these videos for a while now, you already know I don't sugarcoat the ones that need work, and that's on purpose. I'd rather you know exactly what you're walking into before you ever schedule a tour or make a call to an agent, because that's how you actually make a good decision instead of a rushed one. There's enough guesswork in buying a house from photos alone without me adding to it by glossing over the parts that actually need attention. Let me know down in the comments which one of these 7 you'd actually buy if you had to pick just one today, and if you want more videos like this one, go ahead and hit subscribe. We've got a lot more of these coming, and we're always digging up new ones across the state. I'll see you in the next one.